A villa with 3 bedrooms, good bones, and it comes with a whole second land plot attached to it in the sale? What's the catch? Oh, there's a catch, baby. You can't build on the land plot. Welcome to episode 5 of how I bought my dream beach villa in the south of Italy. Let's get into it. Ciao ragazzi! Welcome back to my channel. Can you tell that I'm just fresh off a mini holiday to Italy? I just got back to London last night. One of the perks of buying a villa in Italy is that if you want to go on holiday to places like the Amalfi Coast, it's no longer a 5, 6, 7 hour flight. It's a little road trip, just a couple of hours. So we went to our house to check on something. That's going to be a later series. The whole renovation process will be a later series. Now I'm back in London. Don't worry, it's not too bad. But yesterday your girl was in Positano. Hey! She was in Amalfi. She was in Maiori. She was in Minori. She was in all these places. So listen, if you're thinking about taking the leap and getting an Italian villa, let this series be the peer pressure that you need to just do it. I got you. I got you. So as you guys know, this was a marathon weekend of villa viewings for us. The villa that we just saw in episode 4, we saw Friday evening. And usually before or after every villa viewing, we would convene. Myself, Bay, Giorgio, Mark, Anna, our property finder, and Antonio, the engineer. So to every single villa, we were rolling deep. It's good to have a crew, everyone to have eyes on things and like help us notice stuff, especially Antonio. Antonio, because he's an engineer from the region, he's very well versed on a lot of the laws and regulations and like how things work with building permits, so on and so forth in this region where we're looking on the beach. And when we convened the following morning, a bombshell that he shared with us was that this house falls within a restricted zone, which is highly relevant for building. So in this region of Puglia, if you are within 300 meters of the shoreline, it's almost impossible to get permissions to do any kind of like building or construction work because, you know, climate change, there's erosion of the shoreline, and the municipalities are trying to be conscious and careful with that. So they limit the amount of work that you can do on the shoreline. This house, which I wasn't even like in love with or anything, I was kind of like, you know, it's got potential, basically became the house that I then started nicknaming the no-go house. It was disappointing to hear that news, but if anything, I was grateful to have learned that because every single piece of information like that helped inform our next viewings. Right? So we got a list of 10 viewings ahead of us. Guess what? We're going to check if any of those are within 300 meters of the shoreline, because if they are 300 meters within the shoreline, then they're also going to be a no-go house. Like I explained to you guys with the villa from episode 2, there's a lot of informal buying that goes on, right? So that woman who owned the villa in episode 2 ended up selling it to her cousin or something because like people didn't want to deal with the regulations. We are going to deal with the regulations because we're going to do stuff by the book. The episode 4 house ultimately was not going to be for us because we weren't trying to be blocked left and right and not get permits, not be able to do this, get in trouble because you move a window. But it could be for somebody else, probably someone local. The house is still for sale. I don't know, the house might even still be for sale now if you watching it are interested in it. You could buy it, but you got to take it as is, baby. You got a whole land plot there. What you going to do on it? You can't build on it. Like, that's probably why the seller was trying to sell it. Because they had a house and this big land plot that they couldn't do nothing with. Even construction on the house itself would require permits. You want to put a door here, you want to move a window here, you want to do this, that's going to require permits. Even that kind of work, it would be difficult to get the permits for because it's within 300 meters of the shoreline. So we move. On that note, there are a couple of things that came up in episodes 4 comments that I just wanted to give you guys a little bit more intel on. One of the things was, where is that property? The one from episode 4. So I'm not going to give the exact location of these villas or where we end up buying our house just for safety reasons. But I will tell you, and I have a map of Puglia in front of me right now, we were looking on the beach. So someone asked if it's in the city. It's not in a city. We're in a little like beach village. We wanted somewhere that was walking distance to the beach. All of the villas that you're going to see in this series are on the Ionian coast, which means Puglia, you know, it's the heel of the boot. We are looking on the shoreline that is westward facing. So south and westward facing. A lot of very popular towns that you'll find on the east shoreline that borders the Adriatic Sea. Bari, Polignano a Mare, Ostuni, Monopoli, Otranto. We are not on that shore. We are on the opposite shore. And that was a very intentional decision for us. More of our friends are on the west shore. And a lot of these towns that I just named that are on the east shore, they're gorgeous, they're beautiful, they're amazing, they're fabulous, they're everything. But a lot of those beaches tend to be rocky, and we weren't about that life. We wanted a sandy beach. And so a lot of the sandy beaches in Puglia you will find on the west shoreline, western shore. Secondly, I also want to talk a little bit about pricing. Silly me, it's the first time I'm doing a series like this. I didn't realize I wasn't really dropping information about money, but money is important. Let me tell you the prices of all the villas I have shown you so far. So the very, very first villa that I showed you all in episode 2, that one was listed at $75,000. So if you watch episode 2 and episode 3, all of the drama that went down with that villa helped us realize that we did not want to purchase a villa that was going to require a lot of reconstruction work immediately. So once we realized, we increased our budget, yeah? The next property that we had considered, so this is a property that you saw in episode 3. This one Anna went and viewed for us. This property was listed at $135,000. Okay, so this is a property that was habitable. We could move in essentially and live there right away. That property was too small for us. It wasn't going to work. But now we were more in a price range of a property that we wouldn't have to do a ton of work on. Next villa that Anna had viewed for us and sent us a video of, this was the one that we really fell in love with. But if you watched episode 3 and 4, you will know that these owners, as we were getting close to making a deal, they ghosted us. This property was listed at $175,000 with room for negotiation. You might recall in episode 4, I put up on the screen for a few moments a list of the properties that we would be viewing in this marathon weekend. Now, if you take a close look, you will see that these numbers are, I don't want to say they're totally all over the place, but the range of what we were looking at the lowest end, there was a property for $99,000, and at the top end, there was a property listed at $190,000. The property in episode 4, the one that came with the land plot, that actually was listed at $189,000. So yeah, above our budget, but of course there's always room for negotiation. They notoriously love to throw an initial lowball offer, which I'm not mad at that. I support my man. We are a team and we stand firm and together on our negotiation tactics. But I think also sometimes you want to make sure that you don't borderline offend people. Because remember, we're in the south of Italy. It's definitely a place that is big on culture and custom. Yeah. So if you really love a house, you don't want to find yourself in a position where the donna of the casa has been so offended by what you've offered that she's just forget you people. We will sell it to anyone but you, But yeah, I hope that helps and gives a little bit more context of what we're dealing with here. Now, how did this budget get moved around? Apparently he has a whole version of his story about the budget.
I'll explain how the budget worked. Okay, so basically, we started with 80K. We have ample amount to do the renovations. Then all of a sudden, it'll be above 100. I'm cool. Above 100, still manageable. We can still have a bit of a renovation budget, pay taxes. All of a sudden, by month 7 of us choosing a property, this girl, financial machinations.
It's called girl math.
She knows exactly how much I have in each of my 5 business accounts.
How much we have.
How much No, actually,
How much we have, yeah.
in the 5 business accounts, including the crypto price of Bitcoin.
You're giving away too much personal information.
All of a sudden, the budget is over 150, and we're looking at properties that are 200.
No. 200. We never looked at one property that was over 200.
How much? What was the most expensive?
Why are you yelling?
Expensive.
Sorry, guys, our flight is boarding.
No, what was the most expensive one? This is important. Community needs to know.
Okay, so let me clarify something. This budget got moved around because we were flexible in our budget and we were able to move things around a little bit. Did we want a gutted property that was going to be a massive, massive renovation project from the beginning? No. So we had to up our budget from, 100,000 to like 150,000. The thing is, when I was looking on these Italian property websites, you start to see trends in what's offered in certain price ranges, right? We were not going to go above 200,000. And let me explain why. I mean, financially, that really was like really our top end. But also because what I noticed is between 140,000 and like 185,000, there would be a lot of good options. 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms. Once you started getting into villas that were listed over 200,000, it was like, what's it called? Diminishing margins? Sure, like maybe the property would be a little bit more finished, slightly more modern, or maybe we're not even talking about getting into the range of having a pool. Like I think if you want a pool, it's going to be above maybe 250,000. But the thing is, a lot of these properties that I would see online listed for above 200,000, I would just find the style of the interiors like kind of ugly. Like it was designed to someone else's taste. I didn't find it worth paying more just for someone else's style that I didn't really like. Whereas in the range of 140,000 to like 180,000, 190,000, we were finding 2 and 3 bedroom properties that kind of were like good enough, up to snuff in terms of structurally having a decent flow, but it's like the design details weren't so fleshed out that it would give us a lot of creative space to make the home our own. So yeah, hope that gives some context. All right, so all these juicy details had me chit-chatting a little bit longer than I originally planned for this episode. But in the next episode, we are going to dive right in with a double hitter of 2 villa viewings, spanning the full spectrum of that pricing bracket. Thanks for sticking it with me this far into the series. I hope you guys have been enjoying. If there's anything more or less that you want to see of, don't hesitate to drop me a line in the comments. Also, of course, don't forget to hit that subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Ciao.